Oh yeah. Well, actually, that's a year old or 2 years old. That
I
was
thought.
from 2013.
Oh,
That
what?
was one of those like 2 years ago this day. You whatever you know how
Oh,
Facebook coughs that stuff up.
seriously?
Yeah. Initially, I responded to it as well, like, "Oh, cool. Well, now you got no excuses." And then I looked at the date, and it was like,
I didn't
"Oh,
even look at the date. Oh,
yeah."
I thought
But it
his
was
computer was back up.
no, but it was funny because it's like he was hooking his computer up that day because he just got his thing. So I'm just like, damn, man, like, 2 years to the day.
To the
What timing?
day. To the day. Um, so yeah, it's just he has no internet. Apparently, Time Warner never showed up today or something. Which Time Warner. But so today we don't have a guest. So we're going to talk about movie and TV spaceships, and we got a lot of suggestions from Twitter and Facebook, along with Jim's and my favorites. So we're going to start. I don't know anything about this one, Jim, but you were talking with Dan. How do you say his last name?
DeChico.
DeChico
Yeah, from Star Drive.
Of Star Drive fame, about this ship, which is apparently the Endurance from Interstellar.
Yeah, which totally slipped my mind. I was just like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten this movie existed. So
It's a fascinating design, I gotta say. Like I'm looking at it, and I'm guessing the ones with like the panels in the front are engines, so they make kind of a cross.
there's four of them. It's the ones with the black
Yeah,
on.
the ones with like the
Yeah,
black panels in the front. Those are the
right.
engines
Those
in
are
there.
those are the engine pods.
So
Yeah,
what are
and
the
the
what?
rest of them are like storage rooms and habitat and whatever. It would just be like the International Space Station with rockets on it flying across
That's
space.
that's a pretty clever design. I actually really like that design. I
Yeah,
mean,
because it was a thing where it's like, okay, we spin this thing, and then we have gravity in the rooms,
yeah,
but it's got motors on it and it goes. So it's kind of the opposite of what you would think of most movie spaceships, right? Where you have like the Discovery from 2001,
yeah.
which is more like a pencil, and this thing is like a big flat ring instead. So it's almost like a traveling space station, like the spinning space station model.
We do have the Discovery in here somewhere.
Oh yeah,
It's a
and then
classic.
the Leonov is the one that I like the most.
Yeah, yeah, the one from 2010 with
Yeah.
the spinning midsection.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great ship.
Yeah, it and the Sulaku I think are related. So
Oh, yeah, I
did the
wouldn't be
Sulaku
surprised.
have a spinning thing? It didn't, did it?
Slaku, is that's the one from?
Phalanx.
Yeah, no, I think it had a small one. Well, there is a picture in here, so
Okay.
we'll take a look. But so you were saying that the front part was detached of this ship
Yeah. So
was
what they
detachable?
did in the movie, they flew up there because it's like the space shuttle, right? It can take off and land more like Star Trekky. Um,
Right.
and which is interesting, right? Because like, how much fuel does it take to actually get the space shuttle off a planet? But in the movie, uh, the big driving thing in the movie was fuel, and how much fuel does it take for us to visit? Because there was like three potential planets, and it's like, well, we can only visit two of them, and we have to pick, right? Because we've got this limited fuel, and then uh, they get the shuttle like down on the planet, and then they're talking about, well, we can only like get down there and then take off, and then we're out of fuel or whatever.
Oh,
But
jeez.
the thing is like, it's not small, but I mean, compared to other spaceships, it's a minivan, right?
Right.
So I'm just like, where's the gas, man? Like, where is that? Because it takes the space shuttle like this giant multi-thousand-gallon, like giant torpedo of a gas tank.
Right.
Like the majority of the shuttle launch is gas tank. Um, so yeah, so it's just like, well, that was a little weird here. Like they have this one thing that doesn't make sense with the rest. Um, but the movie, well, that's kind of how the whole damn movie was, right? It was just like, here's some really cool ideas,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna screw it up with like Patrick Swayze's Ghost.
What?
Like really. Did you ever see Ghost with Patrick
Well,
Swayze?
yes, yes.
Okay,
I've definitely
take
seen that.
take Ghost and put it in a hard science fiction movie,
What?
right? And that's kind of, yeah, it
What?
just like shit in this movie. It was like,
How does that? What?
hmm,
That doesn't make.
well,
What?
I would wreck the movie for you if I
Go
could.
ahead and wreck it. I'm probably not going to see it anytime soon. I'm not in a
Okay,
rush, so
so
whatever.
so imagine it's 2001, okay,
Okay,
and I'll just do it in the context of 2001. So
sure.
they go there, and there Hal is in this movie as well, but he's a robot, and the robot that is basically the Hal in the movie. There's a couple of them, but they are. It looks like the monolith from 2001, and I don't think that that was a mistake at all.
The robot looks like the monolith.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a flat slab of steel. But the
Okay.
robot can then well you find out that it's actually sectioned so it can walk because, it just like splits into a left and a right side and
Huh.
walk, right? And shit like that. And then I need an arm. Well, there happens to be an arm here. You couldn't see it because it was just like part of the rectangle, but then an
Right.
arm flips out, that kind of shit. So it's a magic robot. There's a scene where it needs to run really fast,
Right.
so it just turns into like it looks like a an asterisk, right?
What?
Because it just like yeah, it instead of turning into like an X, it's like a six pointed X. It's like three sticks instead of two, and then it rolls.
What?
And it can haul ass. Yeah, the robot is actually kind of cool, right? It's like I'll forgive that. It's up there. Like it ain't R2D2, but it's a pretty weird thing. Um, but okay, so Hal is actually a nice guy in this movie and
Okay.
helps everybody, right? And at no point does the robot go crazy and try to kill anybody. The humans are crazy and try to kill each other, and that's enough, right? But yeah, I'm looking at you, Matt Damon. So, but anyway, they fly to this planet, and his daughter is on Earth, right? And she
Yeah.
is trying to solve the problem because Earth is dying, right?
Sure.
So he goes off into space. She
Yeah.
stays on Earth and
Yeah.
grows up, and then you have the time dilation because relativity, right? Like he's
Yeah.
he's traveling fast. He doesn't get old. She grows up, so she's like a middle-aged woman now, and she is trying to solve this math equation of how to basically like figure out gravity, right? Because if we
Okay.
can figure out gravity, we have this giant space station that we've built, but we
Mm.
can't get it off the ground. So if we
Okay.
figure out gravity, we can put the whole population of Earth into these space stations and then take off and leave Earth behind, right? And we'll live.
Right.
Um, so he goes off to survey these planets where they're
Mm.
going to land, potentially. Um, and then some weird shit happens where basically they get sucked into a black hole, right? And he's trying to enable the other to get away, but he has to sacrifice himself, and it's actually part of the ship because Matt Damon was a dick and like
What?
blew up part of the ship, so they didn't have enough fuel again
Oh, so is that
to
why
get out.
people? Is that why people are saying, "Oh, I don't know about him in The Martian"? Because
Yeah,
he was a,
exactly.
he was a dick in Interstellar. I'm like, completely different character in The Martian.
Yeah, well, it was interesting though. I mean, it was just like he went fucking space madness, right? He was like on this planet alone very much like The Martian, right? That's why people are making that parallel because it was like he was like alone on this planet for decades, right? And just
Oh,
went fucking nuts. So
oh,
whenever people come, then he's just like, yeah, we need to leave right now, and he's like trying to steal the ship and kill the guy that wants to stay or whatever. And yeah,
what?
he's just nuts. He's not thinking logically about anything because it's like if he'd have just like shut up and chilled out, they'd have left anyway,
Huh.
right? So but there was no need to try to murder anybody. But anyway, um, so he sabotaged the ship and actually killed himself in the process and stuff.
Nice.
So, but the ship is all fucked up. So then they're trying to get back out through the wormhole. Well, in order to do that, they have to slingshot around the black hole, right? Well, there's too much weight, so the guy in the ship that is attached to it detaches to let the girl have less mass and she can make it. But then he gets sucked into the black hole, him and the robot, right? So they fall into the black hole, and then it turns into like this surreal fairy tale ghost story thing,
What?
because yeah, because there was stuff that happened in the beginning and middle of the movie, like when she was a little girl,
Uh-huh.
and it was just like weird little things, and it was like, I don't know what are they trying to show here? This doesn't make any sense. Well, when you get to the end of the movie, then Dad is a ghost in her room, and he's behind the books in the bookcase, and he's kind of like looking into her world, right? But he can't manipulate anything, but he can basically use gravity because he's figured out gravity. He knows the secret, right? Because he's
What?
a space ghost.
So did he have?
Space ghost.
Did he
And
have a? Did he have a curmudgeonly subway ghost help him figure out how to manipulate objects by
well,
force of will?
it's actually he is manipulating gravity because gravity can be manipulated across time. Okay,
What?
that's like the only thing that can cross time is gravity.
What?
Yeah, dude, it's science, man. They made up some science. So,
What?
right. So it's
That doesn't make any
whatever
sense.
forces gravity can actually transcend time and space. So
What?
he is in this realm. He is now one with the force, and he's basically using gravity to like line up dust that's falling off the bookcase
What?
and like write in Morse code, right? And then she sees that. Well, she figures it out, and then he tells her he's gonna give her the formula that saves all of humanity. It's like, here's the magical secret of gravity, right? My theory of relativity and how the universe works and everything. But
Uh-huh.
the only way he can communicate is he can hardly move anything, right? Like he can move dust, shit like that. Now, because he was able to
Sure.
move dust, like you'd think, well, just take your finger and fucking write like it's a chalkboard. No, what he has to do is actually like nudge the second hand on her watch. So she's looking at her watch, and the second hand is just like very mildly bouncing, and it's Morse code, and she starts scribbling, right? And they do this for like years, where and then it's like, Eureka, I've got it, and she throws a bunch of papers in the air and celebrates, and then somehow he has
Really?
found, yeah, and somehow at the very end of the movie he's found adrift in his spacesuit, still alive, and it's kind of like in Aliens, right, where they find the Ripley in the freaking escape shuttle,
Oh
and
God.
pull her in,
Yeah.
cut her out of the thing. So you see like a ship is going by, and it's like, hey, there's a guy in a spacesuit, let's pick him up. And they haul him in, and it turns out it's him. No idea how he got there. It's like God
What?
put him there or something.
What?
Um, yeah, this is like 40 more years in the future, right? So then they resuscitate him, and he walks into this hospital room, and there's his daughter, who she was like a teenager when he left, right? And now she's like 90 years old on her deathbed, and all the family's gathered around, and Dad comes walking in, and he's like 30. And
What?
yeah, well, because relativity, right? They wanted to show that she
Oh,
got old
for
and he never aged and whatever.
fuck's sake.
And then yeah, so he walks in, and she's like, hey, like, we're safe, you saved us, I'm so sad that you had to go, but it's like it was for the greater good. But Anne Hathaway needs you because she's back there on that planet, and she's lonely, and she's doing this all herself, and she's going to die alone, so why don't you go be with her? And he gets on a ship and like takes off to see her, and then you see her at the end, and she's got like a bunch of embryos, because plan B was, if we can't get humans there, we can get frozen and sperm and eggs there,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll just like have one person that will hatch a
What?
bunch of human eggs, and then raise the first generation until we can get them impregnated, and then we'll just breed a whole new human race on this.
I'm really glad I didn't see this movie. I'm I'm
Oh,
al-
I
I'm
I
I'm
hated this movie
I'm already
immensely.
getting annoyed. I'm getting annoyed based on you just describing it to me. I'm
Yeah,
getting
I
annoyed. But the
the
ship looks cool. The
yeah,
ship
the ship.
looks
That's basically what we come down to, is like everything about space in this movie was fucking cool. Everything about people in this movie was insane. It was just like Matt Damon was the only sane person because he was like, I have to kill all of these people to get out of this movie.
Wow.
So,
Well, good for Matt Damon, I guess. I guess that's what
but I
happens
can't
when.
wait to see The Martian though. That's
Oh,
going
I
to be
can't either.
probably
I'm
good.
so excited about that. All right, so next ship. This was your pick. The flying saucer from Forbidden Planet,
Damn straight.
which I've not seen since I was a kid, so I barely remember anything about that movie.
Well, this is the thing, right? What if the saucer shape is actually it turns out to be um, because we discover like some electromagnetic gravitation magical relative drive bullshit, right? And the whole thing about it is like you have to have some sort of like proton accelerator ring or some shit. So you're gonna have a ship that's a ring,
Yeah.
right? So you build the living space inside the ring, and you get a flying saucer. So I just think that we have not had any exploration of saucer shaped ships in anything since this.
Well,
Uh,
now that they have those that new engine that we all were talking about,
exactly.
that new engine that could definitely make saucer type ships. And you would think a saucer type ship would get through the atmosphere because it could just slice through, right? You'd think it'd be
Uh,
maybe,
maybe. Yeah.
maybe.
So the other place. Do you have my other saucer pick on
I
here?
do. I'd have to
Ray
scroll through.
Harryhausen.
I'd have to scroll
Okay.
through it for it.
Because there's video of that, and it's like if you can whip the video up on there, I'll provide you with the video because it is the most beautiful spaceship footage
Where the hell is it?
from the '60s.
Yeah, there it is. I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen this movie. I know I've seen this movie. I think Mystery
Yeah.
Science Theater. Which movie was this again?
It's Earth versus the Flying Saucer.
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, and it's on
Did that one.
YouTube, like the whole movie
Oh
in
God.
like 720p HD. Like watch, dude, the movie's awesome.
It is
I
pretty
mean,
great.
seriously. Oh God, they colorized it. What?
Oh, come on. What?
Wow, no, that's cool. Unless this is
No.
just a colored. Oh yeah, they totally colorized this thing.
No. Oh
Oh no, they
God.
didn't. This is a goddamn scammers. They have like a picture and it's like, oh, watch the whole movie, right? And it's like an hour and 43 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's an hour and 43 minutes of the watch this movie picture.
Don't worry about it.
I
I don't
hate
even
that
know if
shit,
I don't
man.
even know if
It's
we're
like,
allowed to kind of show that kind of shit on here. That's copyrighted
yeah.
nonsense.
Okay,
Um,
but it's Ray Harryhausen, the guy
right.
who did the stop motion animation in
Oh
like
yeah, I
Clash
love
of
it.
the Titans
Yeah,
and
of
King
course.
Kong and all that. Yeah. So
Of course.
um that guy, he did fucking UFOs, and it is just the most awesome because they come up with this ray gun. Basically, it's like they put them on the back of tank or of trucks, right? They have like cargo trucks, and they put this freaking ray gun on the back of the truck, and it's basically like a magnetic cannon because they figure out, well, these things fly by some kind of electromagnetism, so if we hit them with this magnet beam, it basically breaks their field and they can't fly and they just crash.
Right.
Well, they're shooting them down in Washington D.C. So they have them like crash through the Capitol dome, and one of them like cuts the Washington Monument in half and stuff. And because it's all stop motion, then they had to stop motion animate the bricks that fell out of the walls and stuff, and did it really well. Like they did it in chunks. It's not like each brick individual like they do with CG today, but it's like dust and chunks of brick and stuff that they animated, and it's like he had to have all that stuff on pins, and
Hmm.
like switch which pin was holding the brick where, and it was just like weeks to animate a saucer crashing into a building. So
Right.
the amount of effort that went into this movie was just absolutely phenomenal. and it shows. Like when you watch this thing and you think like this was done before computers were, eh, even in the scene, and they had to do everything here frame by frame by hand, and it's
Right.
just bonkers. So yeah, I love this movie. I would say for that alone, I mean the plot's kind of weak, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
basically like people of Earth stop playing with nuclear weapons.
Wait,
you
we're
know,
still talking about Forbidden Planet, right? Or the other
no,
one?
no, this
Oh,
is Earth versus the Flying Saucers is what I
oh.
was talking about. But
We'll get to
no,
that one.
for Forbidden Planet, not a lot was said about the ship. It was just like, hey, here's the ship, you know,
Yeah, I
and it,
remember.
it 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 almost has the feel of like a World War II movie, where it's just like, hey, here's the Jersey boys, and we're on our ship, and we're like, rowdy military guys, and we're on this planet
Right.
because it's kind of Star Trek in that way, except that they're kind of like they're disciplined, but they're not kind of thing. And yeah, but then they get there and there's like
Oh, Star Trek.
scientist and his hot daughter and the super cool robot, right? Robbie the robot made his debut in this thing.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so what they find out, because this is like the classic science fiction of the 50s and 60s, where it was like at the end we're gonna punch you in the face with a moral, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like here's the lesson of this movie, and it was basically that the aliens who had lived on this planet invented a machine that could make their thoughts reality, right?
Right.
So if you can think of it, you can have it. Well, the problem was that subconsciously they had like horrors, right? So it's like in our subconscious psyche we're monsters, and if you make a machine that lets those thoughts out, then the monsters become real in the world around us.
Right.
So it was very dangerous, right? So and that's what ended up happening is everything was peaceful until the humans showed up, and the scientist was jealous because the guys were making eyes at his daughter, and he got defensive about that, and then his subconscious like conjured up monsters to kill the soldiers,
Right.
and he didn't even realize he was doing it, kind of thing. So yeah, so in the end, mankind is the monster. So
Uh,
dun dun
apparently,
dun.
tokens in the channels were looking for Fugitive Alien 2. I love the Fugitive Alien movies on Mystery Science Theory 3000, but he apparently can only find the. Oh, that was a good ship in that movie. You can only find the MST3K episode. I'm like, why would you want the original? I'm sorry. Why would you want the original? You would miss out on the best song they ever did. He tried to kill me with a forklift. Ole! Remember that? Oh my god.
I have actually not seen Fugitive Alien,
Oh my
but
god, it's so terrible because
but it's
one of the
real on
characters is
YouTube.
called no wait, one of the characters is called Rocky. So like every now and then you'll just hear the captain say, "Rocky, set a course again." It's like, oh shit. It's like
Yeah, is
really?
this a Japanese movie?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
Japanese movie.
The entire movie, untouched by Mystery Science Theater, is actually it's on YouTube if
It's
you
on
search.
YouTube.
Yep,
Well,
it's like
give
the
give me a
film.
link. I'll put it in the put it in the Twitch chat.
Oh yeah, it's Twitch chat.
Tokens will be very appreciative. So let's move on to the next ship, which I actually know something about. The good old Discovery from 2001, a classic design. I gotta say, I love this ship. It's one of the first ships I actually, besides the original Enterprise, that I remember. As a kid, was this one, and this I think this ship was very influential for me in that it really helped, like, cement my love of spaceships. Because it's just such a very simple, elegant design. You know,
Hmm.
and I just love how one of my favorite things about this ship is the. It's a little thing, but remember the seats in on the bridge, how they kind of leaned forward at this weird angle.
No,
Remember that? You don't remember that? I
no, I
just
don't remember him leaning forward.
They like leaned at a weird angle. They weren't looking straight out. They were like leaning or something, if I recall correctly.
Mm.
And such a really just neat design. I love the design. I don't know how they did this in the movie with Bowman running around
Yeah.
jogging around the rim of the ring of the dome there. I don't know how they did that. They probably just like had him stay still while they circled the set around him, I'm guessing. But
Yeah, well, they probably just built like a ring
yeah,
that he could run on. Yeah,
yeah,
but
probably.
little gerbil
I've
wheel.
got I've got it on Blu-ray with a bunch of special features that I should watch. If you've not seen this on Blu-ray, by the way, this is just amazing. I keep threatening to show it to Nicole, who has not seen it, but that's one of those movies you got to be like, I'm really tired. I just want to watch something. It's not a very fast-paced movie, you know,
Mm.
or action-packed, but it's just so good. So let's move on to the next one. My favorite Klingon ship, the Bird of Prey. I mean, once this was introduced in I think Star Trek 3, right?
I think it was 3. Yeah.
I think it was 3. And then they just kept using it and using it and using it and using it.
You know, yeah. I don't know. I think that it was neat, okay? But I
Yeah,
think that it was overused. It's to the
it
point where it was
was.
like because the D7 is the Klingon ship,
That's the
okay? To
muscle. That
me,
I mean, I do love that design. That's like the backbone of
uh,
the Klingon fleet. That's like the muscle. But there's something I love about that. I love how the ship can land on planets. I love how its wings like go up and down,
well, it had a lot of utility value.
which I
I'll
think
say
I like.
that.
Which I think I like about it. I think that's what I like about it, is the utility. It's a
Uh,
it's a very versatile ship. I think that's why it kept getting used. Like I
yeah,
always
but
want. Oh, sorry.
the problem that I have with it though is that it's a frigate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Constitution class, especially the refit, is a frickin' warship. It's a
It's
cruiser,
a cruiser.
right? And the Constitution and the D7 are supposed to be a fairly even match.
Yeah.
It should swat this thing like a gnat. And yet, in the movies, it gave the Enterprise just shit beyond belief.
Well,
You know, and
yeah, well, there's a reason for that. In 3, the Enterprise was run by 3 people, and there's
right.
no way it could fight. And in 6, the thing could fire while it was cloaked. I mean, that's tough to fight
Yeah,
against.
that's true.
That's tough to fight against. But I do love how blah, 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 blah. In D Space Nine, one of the major Klingon characters, Martok, who's fucking awesome. He keeps a bird of prey as his main ship. And someone in the chat, Waystone, says the neat thing about the bird of prey is that it was designed based on a weight lifted flexing when the wings are down at angle. Oh, weight lifter. It was based on a weightlifter flexing his muscles. I guess that's what he's saying. That's
Oh, weird.
interesting. That's interesting. But yeah, there's something I love about the utility and versatility of this design. You know, it just screams Klingon to me. You know, maybe even a little more than the D7.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the D7. Don't get me wrong, classic. But I think this is a nice refinement. I think. So let's move on to the next one. Now, someone suggested this piece of shit. I think the fucking A-wing. I think it was Nate from Twitter. Yeah, fucking Nate. You know the guy who loves to fly the fucking thing in X-Wing versus TIE Fighter?
Mm-hmm.
That asshole. Yeah, he's like, oh, let's do the A-Wing just because it pisses you off. Yeah, right, it pisses me off. You're basically flying like a wedge with engines and 2 little cannons on it. And that's really all that fuck. I don't like the A-Wing, but I've never liked the A-Wing. But I think it's a boring design. My own self.
Yeah.
I could see why some people like it. It's very simple.
Yeah,
And,
well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool. I own the Hasbro, action figure version of the A-wing,
oh, really?
and it looks nice. Oh, yeah, I've got all the ships.
Oh.
Yeah, I need a shelf that I can actually display it on,
Yeah,
like in a
you
box.
display that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. The only one that I paid beyond retail was the B-wing, and I actually got that at Celebration too, and paid like $150 for that.
Woo! I
Yeah,
love the
yeah,
A-Wing.
because that was like in that gap, right, where this was like late '90s.
Oh,
So the
where there
shit had
was
not been made for 15 years,
yeah, where
and
there's nothing
nobody
except
was.
books and some
Yeah, and
comics and
there
stuff.
was
Yeah.
like no, oh, here's a Target exclusive. We're bringing it back.
Here's
No,
Lego. Here's Lego. No, none of that.
I'm not a Lego guy at all.
No, but there
Um,
wasn't even that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? There wasn't even
but it,
that.
well, exactly. So, it's interesting that God, it's coming out this year, like in a couple months, right? Like when's Star
Christmas.
Wars coming out? Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah.
So
That's
not so
amazing, right?
long. That's
Isn't
like
that
what, four
amazing?
4 or 5 months.
I know.
So yeah, and it's like the hype machine is not near what I would have assumed that it would have been.
Well, I think they saw the mistake they made with the Phantom Menace, and they've decided to try and keep the. I think they've tried to keep expectations more realistic because the stuff they've released has really tugged at my nostalgic heartstrings. You know, all the like the Comic Con thing where they showed all the practical stuff, and the actual trailer where they had Han Solo at the end. You know, just really, really hit me in the feels, man. And I think
Yeah,
that's kind of
and
what they're
that's
going
cool.
for. Yeah.
The thing that I look at, and the reason it's like, okay, JJ, Mr. Abrams, right? All right,
Yes.
but JJ, um, he uh, he has never done anything that I've actually liked. Okay,
Oh.
I like his ideas,
Yeah.
but his actual execution and follow through is horrific because he um, he does not he does things like this would look really cool if we did this. It
Mm.
doesn't have to make sense. We can
Uh,
just do this thing, right? Because I want this visual
see,
something,
see,
right?
that kind of worked for the first Star Trek movie because the
It
story was so light that it was okay.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
okay, so in the
I
second
think.
one,
Oh God, don't
oh
even. I
God,
don't know. Oh, fuck
right?
that.
Like
Oh,
like everything in that
everything.
movie is
What
weak.
oh, so much pissed me off. Like, here's our
So
secret.
we're
Here's
gonna inject you
RoboCop's. Sorry.
we're gonna inject you with with con blood, and then you'll come back to life. And yeah, okay. So at that point, I figure, all right, this will be like a vampire movie, right? Where they have a human
Uh,
like hooked up, and he's just like they're just pumping his blood out and feeding off of it.
like
That's what
Mad
they
Max,
should have.
like Mad Max.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they should have done in Con, right? Is they should have just milked that guy like a blood cow, and just be
There's
like, we're gonna cure all disease with his blood.
There's so much wrong
But
with that movie. I mean, there are two things I particularly love slash hate about that movie. One, the fact that this is the super secret ship I've been building to fight the Klingons, but I happen to have a model of it on my desk. Like what? And then wait, why?
I
And then
know
the
the absurdity of that is just
and
like
then I love and then the I'm gonna use transwarp beaming out of this tiny little ship to beam to a planet several however gajillion light years away, parsecs even. Like what? No. Come on. There's a lot I can accept in Star Trek. There's a lot I can suspend my disbelief for in Star Trek. But when you push it so far that you have even me going, "Come on," you know,
mhm.
it's like, no, you're failing. You're absolutely failing. But the thing that has me excited about the new Star Wars movie is that Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote and directed Empire, is a major force behind this one. So
Wow.
that gives me hope. That gives me a lot of hope because Empire is obviously the best one, obviously. Um, so let's move on to the next ship. What do we got? Ah, yes. Several mentions came up of Babylon 5, which I've tried to watch many times and never succeeded. Ever. But
Yeah, Star Furies, man,
yeah,
badass.
very
There
cool
was a
ship. Very cool
there was
ship.
another one that I think you would like even more than the Star Fury. It's like a modification of that. Just marry that to an A10 because it had
Ooh.
like the giant cannon on the
Ooh.
nose.
There's another ship from Babylon 5 in this list. I think it's the
So
Shadow
like the
ship.
oh yeah,
Someone loves that. But
the
yeah.
Shadow Ship is like it's a cross between like a hairy spider and a sea
Ugh,
urchin.
yeah, it creeps the fuck out of me.
It's yeah.
But Emma is saying just don't start from season one. Here's the thing: I've tried to watch bits of season one. Like a friend of mine had a curated list of episodes from season 1 and 2 to try and get me into the show. And we only watched those. I spent like a day at her house, and we only watched those, and I still couldn't get into it. I don't know why. Some sci-fi shows, like Stargate or Farscape also, for example, they don't click with me. I don't know why they don't click with me. I love sci-fi. You know me, I love sci-fi, and some shit just does not click with me. But we got a few people mentioning Babylon 5 ships, and I gotta say the designs of the ships in Babylon 5 are pretty cool, to the point where it's really a shame the video games never worked out. It's just such a shame the games never worked out. You know? Because there was supposed to be... there was the one that Sierra was working on. That I think Dynamics was working on it, actually. Does that sound right? And then there was I Found Her, which kind of got finished, but not really.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I Found Her was actually a free space mod.
Was it? I thought it was its own thing.
No, it was a free space
I
mod.
always
And
get the,
there are a couple of free space mods. Like if you want some Babylon 5 in your life, just go get the free space mods and you're fine.
Okay.
Because
that's cool.
They did for that kind of what like the Battlestar Galactica one, whatever the heck the name of that was.
Diaspora.
Diaspora, yeah. They kind of did that for Babylon 5, but a little bit more primitively because it was like, 10 years ago. But the Star Fury is definitely like it's Newtonian physics and spins on a dime,
Right.
sheets behind it.
Yeah, that I always liked watching. Like I've seen like bits of the space combat from Babylon 5 on like YouTube, and that I always enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You know what? I forgot to include the fucking Hammerhead from Space Above and Beyond. I love that fighter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that one. But anyway,
Another one because saucer ships, right?
Yeah.
The Jupiter 2 from Lost in Space.
Lost in Space, yes, very good.
What I thought was very interesting because I'm looking at this Star Fury and it made me think about the fighters that they had in the Lost in Space movie. That movie was such a piece of shit. But
I don't even I saw that in the theater, and I don't remember fighters.
yeah, at the very beginning,
What?
it was the what's his name, Mark LeBlanc from Friends,
What?
I think, or whatever the hell his name is. Yeah, the dude from Friends. He
Oh,
he was
yes.
in a fighter ship at the beginning, like shooting somebody down. But the fighter was actually it was a bubble of glass that he sat in a chair, like suspended in the air in the middle
Right.
of this glass bubble. And then there's like a fighter body, like almost like a B wing that is around it.
Oh, I think I remember
Yeah, it was a
that.
freaking weird thing. I mean, it was like completely impractical, kind of.
Right, I
Like, yeah, we're
think
gonna fight in space in a glass ball.
yeah, I think I
But
vaguely remember that.
but
Very vaguely.
the thing that was cool
Yeah.
that I just thought was very nicely done in the movie is whenever they go and they show the Jupiter spaceship, right? It is the original saucer from the TV show.
Yeah, I thought
And
that
it
was a
takes
nice.
off, and then that was like a heat shield that busts off, and then they've got like the cool modern ship inside.
Yeah, I
And
thought that was a nice touch. I thought that
yeah,
was a real nice touch.
I thought that was a good nod. Like
Yeah.
that's how JJ should have nodded to Star Trek fans. Not I'm gonna do surgery on a torpedo because oh god. Like
The move,
how many
the new Enterprise isn't bad though. It's not.
no, I like the new
I do
Enterprise.
like it. It's
Very cool.
I do find the big clear plastic window in front of the bridge a little problematic. Uh, it's like
Well, you know what I find to be a problem is that the bridge in general looks at like the makeup counter at Macy's.
oh, I was thinking it looks like an Apple store on
Well,
steroids or
that
some.
too, but it's just it's all glass and
I
lens
know,
flare.
yeah.
And those two checkout guns, man, the fucking barcode guns from Walmart that are, you know what I'm talking
I know
about.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like he thought no one would notice that.
Uh,
Right. So that's what gives me fear about Star Wars,
all right.
right? Is that kind of shit. Because
So the next
know.
ship on our list, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The next ship on our list is very feminine.
Oh,
Very,
yes.
very, very feminine in its
Did you
des-
take this off my list or was it already on
This
yours?
is on your list. And you know what? I grew up with this ship, and I do have a soft spot for it because I saw it when I was like 7.
It's the Star
eight.
Uterus.
Yeah, it's called I think they called it Mother. I think was
Yeah,
its
it's the
name.
Star Uterus.
Yeah,
It's like
it's basically a uterus with two boobs at the bottom of it. Is basically what it is. Look at it.
very
That's
feminine.
exact super feminine.
Yes.
This ship is the weird. I mean, it's not so bad when you look at it from the side. It looks more like a traditional ship. It's kind of squarish, it's kind of like rectangular if you look at it from a side profile, from what I
Uh,
recall. But the front, what the hell, Roger Corman? Come on. Did you remember they reused this ship for another
hmm
movie where like a
Yeah,
small
they made it.
Mexican boy was
Yeah,
running away from his?
it was like a cheap reboot of Flight of the
Yeah, I
I
really
own it.
wanted to find the original. I was so tempted to find the original Battlestar Galactica and say this is the ship from Space Mutiny, but I didn't. I just didn't. But I wanted to.
Blast hard cheese.
Last hard, Rock
Large,
Hard
big,
Castle.
huge.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah, that guy. But yeah, this ship, I don't get this design at all. It's so.
I actually
It,
used Blast Hard Cheese as my name in an MMO the other day,
that's
just
great.
to make you proud. So,
Tokens call this ship the Reproductor. And Tokens wins the podcast. I will send you your prize in the mail, whatever it's
uh,
gonna be.
speaking
That.
speaking of Reapers,
Oh God.
that game that you've never played? Oh, those were kind of interesting.
What game that I've never? What?
Mass Effect.
Oh, sure.
The Reaper ships in there. They're giant like Cthulhu old gods
Ew.
spaceships.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would creep me out.
yeah,
No,
like
thank
big
you.
walking. They were like walking space squids, right? But yeah, with laser beams and shit.
That's
But anyway, yeah.
great. All right, let's move away from this, whatever the fuck this is. Now, this is the only picture I could find of this particular ship. It's the human fighter from Enemy Mine. And I don't know why, but there's something I really always loved about this design. I don't know if you could see it on the stream yet,
It
but
hasn't come up yet.
it kind of mixes. Token said he had more jokes. I just couldn't look at that chip anymore. I couldn't. I didn't want to have it on my screen anymore. I was starting to be offended by it. I was like, no, thank you. But yeah, I didn't even mind if it was a movie in
Oh yeah, it finally came up. I
yeah,
do not remember that at all.
yeah.
Like that
That
was the
that
most generic looking ship I've ever
I
seen.
always liked it. It reminded. I don't know why. It reminded me of the mix between like an Art Deco, blimp and a space fighter.
That's an Imperial courier from Elite, actually.
It kind of is, with the wings going the other way. But this is the fighter that, quote unquote, Dennis Quaid's character flew against Louis Gossett Jr.'s fighter, if I recall. I couldn't find a picture of that other one. But yeah,
Right,
this
but
is
we
the
knew Lou Gossett Jr. was going to take him down, right? Because he
fucking
had a
Iron
15,
Eagle.
well,
Fucking Iron
right,
Eagle.
because he had a 15-year-old kid and an F-16 backing him.
Never
Oh
say
God.
die. I had that song.
You know what? It's like you know how they have that like cinnamon challenge where it's like I bet you can't eat a whole teaspoonful of cinnamon or
Ah.
the ice bucket challenge where you do the they
So
should
you
have
talking about the
they
Iron
should have
Eagle challenge? Are
they
you
should
talking
have an
about
Iron Eagle challenge where anybody that can it's like
you have
I
to
want to
sit
raise
through the
money for
entire?
ILS.
You have to
If
sit
I'm
through
gonna
the.
watch all 5 Iron Eagles
Oh
back to
God,
back.
that's right. There's five. I've only seen two. I've only seen the two. Didn't the third one have prop planes or something? Like, like it was
I can't say that I've
P-51s or
seen all
something.
5 either.
I've only seen the
I've
first
got
two.
them.
I've seen posters of like the third and the fourth one. It's like,
Well,
really, guys?
I'm a completionist, right?
Yeah, of
Like
course.
if it's terrible and I have it, I have to have them all.
Oh, all of
So
them. I
I
just can't believe
have
they made
all
five of
the Iron
them.
Eagles,
Do you have
and
all of the Starship Troopers? We're gonna get to that ship eventually, but there's like three or four of them.
I own 1 and 2, and I downloaded 3
Okay.
and watched it briefly,
I
but
think
it was also horrific.
yeah, three is the one where they actually introduced the power armor, like
Yeah,
very briefly,
but
right?
isn't 3 also the one where it was like, okay, now the bugs have it was like the Terminator, right, where they like introduced human-looking bugs or
Oh
some
what?
shit.
Oh come
I don't
on.
remember. It
Oh
was like it was
god.
something so offensively stupid, my brain just ejected.
Oh my god. Really? That's fucking hilarious. But folks, if you've not seen this movie, this is actually not a bad movie. Humans in this alien race are at war, and one of each race gets stranded on this really horribly, barely habitable planet, and they have to survive helping each other. And it's Louis Gossett Jr. in crazy ass alien makeup with a weird ass accent, and Dennis Quaid. And it's actually, at least as a kid, I loved it. I don't know if I would love it now. I haven't watched it recently. But if you like cheesy sci-fi 80s movies, it's definitely one to put up there next to Megaforce and Krull and Daryl and Cloak and Dagger. I could just go on. Explorers. I should have put that one in here. The ship they built from their dreams. I didn't think of that one. So let's look at the next one. What
about Solar Babies? We could.
What's Solar Babies?
Oh God, if you haven't seen it, no.
I don't even know what that is.
It was an '80s movie. Somebody in the chat's seen. Solar
I should know. I love terribly cheesy sci-fi '80s movies. I should know that one.
It was like roller skating, street hockey, Karate Kid.
Oh,
kind of.
That one? That's called.
Yes.
That's what that's called. I have seen that. Oh, that was terrible. I remember how awful
it's right
that
up there
was.
With Roller Gator.
Oh, that was almost as bad as that. Remember that show Street Hawk?
Yes.
Oh God.
That was Knight Rider on a motorcycle.
It was, but the motorcycle didn't talk. Or my favorite, Automan. Remember Automan? He lived.
You could say that I own some DVDs
of Automan.
Yeah.
I knew we were friends for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another favorite of mine. Going back to Star. I don't know if this is the first Star Trek ship we've done.
And Token's asking, have I seen the animated movie called Legend of Orin?
Star Chaser.
Star Chaser. Yeah.
That ship is in here.
Oh, nice.
That ship is. I love that ship. But I've always loved the runabout. I always loved the idea of a versatile, small warp capable craft that could be armed.
Yeah, I like that too. It's like Star Trek Shuttle 2.0.
Yeah,
it's a warp capable shuttle.
Yeah, right. It's basically what the Winnebago and Spaceballs should have been.
But really, what is as cheap and effective as this thing is, you would think that Starfleet would be full of these.
Well, they got replaced on Deep Space Nine fairly regularly, So they probably have like a fucking like planet just churning them fucking out, like a whole dock just runabout planet.
I mean, in a practical Starfleet, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we need to send a science team to this planet. Do we send a battle cruiser?
No, you send a fucking runabout.
There in one of these. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like this is enough ship for somebody to get somewhere. This would be. If you were going to have a Star Trek game that was
like Privateer,
this would be the ship.
This would at least be one of like the earlier ships you'd get at least. But
totes. This would be like the starter ship. It would just be like, we've got a.
As much as I love the Tarsus, I definitely take this over a Tarsus. Definitely, but on Deep Space Nine, this was like the only ship they had for the first 2 seasons. And then they eventually got the Defiant because they knew shit was going to hit the fan, and they didn't think the runabouts could handle it. In fact, when you first really meet the Dominion, they clearly show you the runabouts can't handle it, which is amazing. But I've always loved the runabout. They didn't get used much on Next Generation, but they were a constant on Deep Space Nine. Oh, speaking of Deep Space Nine, my favorite Star Trek ship ever, the Defiant. A ship made to fight the Borg, but called an escort ship because Starfleet's not supposed to have warships. But this is clearly a warship. Clearly a warship. It's got quad photon torpedo launchers and it's got all kinds of weaponry. In fact, it's overpowered. In fact, the ship is severely overpowered. But that's why it kicks so much ass. Like, I didn't get why it was, like, a big deal in First Contact because I hadn't seen Deep Space Nine at the time. I didn't get why it was a big deal that ship survived, but now I get it. The Defiant is just such a great ship. It has none of, like you see the quarters of the Enterprise, and it's like a hotel room, The quarters on this ship are what you would imagine a submarine in the future would be like. They're bunk beds with a desk. You know, that's that's much more
Yeah.
militaristic. You know, so yeah, I this is my favorite Star Trek ship. That isn't the Enterprise. Um, and I just love the just it's just a mean design. It's just a mean like I just love that design. So here's your one of your favorites. This I think was the first on your list. The Eagle from 1999, Space 1999,
Oh yeah.
which is just a kind of fascinating design. Really, it's
Did you own the action figure toy of the
no,
Eagle?
I never did.
Oh my God, it was beautiful.
I
It
never
was like
did.
I had no want for a Millennium Falcon because I had the Eagle, and that's what my folks flew around in because awesome. The actual action figures were terrible,
Hmm,
like very bad action
right.
figures, but it was exactly the scale for Star Wars guys to sit in it. So there you go. But I do like that ship. The thing that I like so much about it is it's like futuristic enough, yet it's completely nothing but practical.
Yeah, it's very
It's a
believable. It's very it feels like this is a very attainable ship for the technology we have and could in the near future have.
I think Space 1999 wasn't that a Jerry Anderson joint? Because
I'm
it
not
was like he did
sure.
UFO and he did Thunderbirds. Do you have one of the Thunderbirds
I
ships?
do
Yes.
not. I do not. Did,
Okay.
did they ever go into space?
Hell yeah, they went into space. It was the Thunderbirds, man. They went anywhere they damn well pleased. So, yes. You know, another ship that I don't have in here that just occurred to me is the space pirate ship from Captain Harlock. That
Captain
was awesome.
Harlock. Why do I know that? Why
It
do I
was an
know that?
anime with it was space pirate Captain Harlock, but the ship was like this
Oh.
giant ship that had a giant skull was the front of the ship, and he just like fucking ram people with it. Yeah, it was a skull shaped batter, skull and
I think I
crossbones.
have heard of this, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if
They
it
did a
actually.
they actually did an anime, like a nice anime, a modern one
Oh, really?
of it. Yeah. The problem is that it sort of suffers from uh like anime syndrome where when they do a series on TV and it's like seasons long, then they have a cool complex story. Whenever they do a movie of something,
Yeah.
it invariably turns out like that Final Fantasy movie, the first one, where it was like, oh, this is the Gaia ghosts of another planet, the whatever, the spirits from the, it turns into like Japanese culture hocus pocus science
I
fiction
heard that
stuff.
Final Fantasy movie was terrible.
Ooh, Lord, it was terrible. And I mean, graphically, it was amazing. Like nobody had done computer CG, like a cartoon like that yet, right? It was great. Um, but the story was just like
Huh.
just gagged me, man, because it was just like, well, you know, Earth is rejecting the souls of the the essence of this other
Appar-
planet, the core that came here and whatever,
right.
and that's why. And it's like humans had to live in this dome with shields that kept the ghosts of the aliens out.
What?
And
What?
oh god, like J.J. Abrams could have actually made that movie better if he'd have applied the the Lost thing. Like the Lost smoke monster would have made sense in this movie. Um, yeah, there's
But
that.
apparently Captain Harlock is on Hulu, the
Oh,
original
really?
series.
Nice.
That's what Waystone is saying.
Yeah,
And
that's
apparently
top.
there you did you say there was a live action movie?
It's not live action, but it's like anime of a very high quality, computer
Oh,
animated.
because
It's
Emo
not
eighty
the old.
five Mo, I guess Mo 85 said there's a live action movie as well.
Yeah, I need to figure out what the hell the name of that ship was because it was awesome.
All right, moving on to the next
Was it,
ship. Let's see what we got here. Ah, the Event Horizon. What a that movie was fucked up. That's really all you can say
yes,
about it. That movie was fucked up.
it was not the movie I wanted.
I know
It
we
was
have
half the movie I wanted
we
to
have
see.
had that chat, but that movie was fucked up. But you know what? I want to say about this ship. This ship looks like a ship that's been to hell. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently the ship's name in Harlock is Arcadia.
Yes.
That's a waste to say,
Yeah,
which is funny.
I'm looking at a model of it right
That's where
now.
my girlfriend's from, which is funny.
Oh, damn, it's only $46. Really?
Yeah.
It took me to Amazon and now I'm shopping. Ooh. Ooh.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, this looked
So,
like this was a
you remember
meme.
Battle of the Planets? Star Blazers?
Sure. Yeah, the
Or
Yamato.
not
Yeah.
Battle of the Planets. It was Star Blazers with the Yamato.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
do a live action Yamato.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, and that movie also they fucked that up, man, because
Mm.
it was okay. It
It
used to be
looked really nice.
the Gamelons were like green people
Right.
from space. They were like space Nazis or something, and then they were bombarding Earth with like radioactive asteroids or some shit, right? Just
What?
trying to get us all dead. Well, in this movie, they couldn't just have like evil green people from space. Oh no, it had to be this crystal entity race that was, souls of some whatever, right? And it was just like, no, just make them frickin' like enemy empire people from space. Just leave it the fuck alone. Don't try to make
What?
some kind of freaking spiritual journey out of this fucking movie. It's because then it's like we can just do CG and they'll just be like crystal people monster things, but
What?
it's like, well, this is like the mother crystal where they all come from and the whole, and they just wanted peace, but we couldn't. But the fucking battle scenes were awesome. So I just fast forward through anything that resembles story. There is a YouTube video that is the Yamato movie with everything but the space battle stuff cut,
Why?
because that's the only part of the movie that's worth watching
Oh.
is the space battles.
Oh, I
That's
see.
why.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah,
was the
it's
reverse. I thought it was the
yeah, they
reverse.
cut away all the bullshit.
I'll have to
It's like
watch that.
if they're not shooting at each other in spaceships, it's gone, and it's
All right.
freaking amazing. But yes,
Anyway,
there's
I did love the design of the Event Horizon. It was a mean looking ship. It was just a scary looking thing.
yeah. Here, I'm gonna put that's a picture of the Arcadia, the model that they sell on Amazon
Okay. Let's
with the
take a look at
with the
that.
big skull ram on the front.
Oh, I have seen that. Yes. It's
I
like
I I think it's a nice touch. Like the back of the ship is still like
a sailing ship. Yeah, a
yeah,
pirate
it's
ship. While the
yeah,
front is
totally.
like just a bayonet, just a big fucking bayonet. Yeah, it's basically what that is.
Yeah, it's like I wonder what he would do with that.
Oh, slice through everything. All right, let's see what we got next. So we talked about this particular flying saucer already. Was it Earth versus the Flying Saucers?
Yep.
So
We could talk about it again though. I could talk about that movie every day, all day.
no, I'd rather talk about the Last Starfighter,
Okay.
particularly the Gunstar, which I fucking love this ship with all of my heart. I seriously do. I love the tandem cockpit.
It's got a lot going on. Yeah.
I love the Death Blossom. I love that it doesn't it lands on its bottom and not like and not its like engines. I love how it has to go straight down, to land. And it's got laser turrets like all over it and shit. And the guy in the back is the pilot, and the guy in the front is the gunner. Kind of
Yeah,
like an Apache.
there is a really excellent um, papercraft model of that thing
I
that's
believe
out
it.
there. Yeah. Well,
I
there
believe it.
everything's in papercraft.
Yeah.
God, I saw some dude was making like uh, like 24th scale battle mechs out of papercraft.
Yeah,
And
I think the
that
Star Chaser that I found, the picture of that was a papercraft.
yeah.
But yeah, there's just something about this ship really fucking captured my imagination at the time. It's just I think it's a very elegant design.
Well,
And
it's like it's an X-wing that has departed from the entire Star Warsiness, right? It's just like because this movie
Kind of,
came
sort
like
of.
hot on the heels of Star Wars, and it was just like, yeah, we're not gonna copy Star Wars. This is gonna be Star Wars, but not, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because there is a lot of Star Wars there. I mean, like the whole scene where it's like, okay, we're gonna sit in the briefing, right? And now you must fly around, and there's this small exhaust port, and it's just it's like that briefing scene is kind of in both movies, right?
A
Where
little bit, a
pilots sit
little
there with
bit.
their helmets. Yeah, but I don't know. It was more entertaining in Last Starfighter because it was almost like a wink and a nudge at
It
Star
really
Wars.
was. It like knew it wasn't that serious,
Yeah.
and it had fun with it, and that's one thing I love about this movie is its sense of fun.
Well, I had forgotten because it's out on Blu-ray now, right?
Of course,
And
yeah.
and in watching that, they did not. I mean, they kind of remastered the stuff with the humans and that. They
Mm.
did not touch the CG.
They didn't have
Like,
to. It's
well,
just, I don't think
mm,
they do. I mean, it's so. I
is
think
that picture on your screen actually from the movie?
I think so.
I don't think so
I'm
because
not
the movie
sure.
was not that detailed. It was very primitive compared to that. But yeah, I was watching it and I was just like, oh God, that's very primitive CG from then. But I mean, that was like amazing then. But that's what makes Babylon 5 hard to watch now too, is the ships are bad.
Rough CG, yeah.
Yeah, they're tough. Like,
Well,
but
that
but whenever you look at like Jurassic Park, I watched the original Jurassic Park again the other day, and it doesn't look bad at all. Like
no,
that
yeah, we
CG,
watched that a couple weeks ago, and Nicole,
yeah, the
because Nicole had
CG
never
from
seen
the
it.
original, the CG from the new one, it's all the same to me. It's like it just has not changed significantly. That
No, it
that
holds
I
up.
look at the first one and I
It,
go, ooh, no, not at all. So yeah,
I think it held up rather well. The original Jurassic Park, I think it held up amazingly well.
yep.
But I have a real soft spot for the Last Starfighter, CGI warts and all. That I mean, you could tell. I mean, the bad thing with Babylon 5 is it didn't really have a great budget for that sort of thing. I think that's one of the reasons why when they finally had a war in Deep Space Nine, they actually were able to do it right because they had because the stuff the CGI equipment had gotten cheap enough to do it well. That's why there never really was any fighting in Next Generation because it was all fucking models. You can only do so much with models. You know, I do miss models a bit, but yeah, D Space Nine did it right. So let's see what's the next ship. Ah, yes. What the fuck is this thing called?
You know what? If to do this right, you should have actually found Legos of each of the ships that we talk about, because I'm like looking for an original picture of the Gunstar, and somebody has made such a freaking great Lego
I'm
model of it.
sure they have. Put it in the
Yeah.
chat. I'm sure they have. I believe it. I totally believe it.
In fact, that's a feature that needs to just be a story that we do on your site. Is just like, let's just go find all the cool Lego spaceships of the classic movie stuff.
That's not a bad idea. Let me add that to my list of
Yeah, and
content
I want to see
stuff.
a Lego Spaceballs Winnebago. I wonder.
There's
Okay,
got to be
so
one. There's
I'm gonna
got to be one.
I'm just gonna look right now.
There
Let's see
has
if
to.
the internet
There's
will the
got to be
internet let
one.
us down.
There has to be one.
Did that thing have a name?
I'm trying to remember. Fuck. Hang on.
Oh God.
I think it did, but I just can't remember what the fuck it was called. Um.
So there's actually a petition to make a Spaceballs Lego set,
I believe it.
and this is what's included. This is our proposed Spaceballs Lego playset. Dude, that's so awesome.
Oh, it's the Eagle 5.
Oh,
According according to
look at these. I put just pull those up. Put them in the stream. Oh my God, that's so perfect.
Whoa!
I know, right? It's just like, are you sure that's not a store-bought kit?
Look at that,
Holy
people.
shit.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Oh my God, the
That
talent
is
that's out there.
that's incredible. Yeah, Eagle 5. I didn't know that actually. I didn't know it actually had a name.
Oh, look at this one. The bumper sticker.
Oh, well done. Well done. They even have the retractable jet engines, the big
Yep.
engines from the back.
Somebody was paying attention to that movie.
Oh,
What can I say?
yeah,
Oh
that was a
God,
real.
Spaceballs 1, does it turn into Mega Maid?
Oh God.
That's so great. This is what I love about the internet, man. Is just like, holy shit, that's huge.
There's
Somebody
everything.
somebody made a
Yes.
giant Spaceball 1.
What?
It's not small. It's not small at all. This isn't Legos though. It's just like a model
Oh,
that they. Maybe it's the original one. Yeah, it's in a glass case. Maybe it's like in a freaking
I
museum.
did find an image as like Spaceballs the sequel Lego set. I don't know what this is. Hang on. That looks pretty great though. When I saw Spaceballs in the theater with my dad or with my grandfather, excuse me, and the first shot is just the ship going by and going by and going by.
Yes.
At one point, I just started laughing my ass off because I got the joke, and like he was like, "What? Why is this funny?" Like, yeah, have you seen? You've not seen Star Wars? I mean, every movie they start with a Star Destroyer going over the camera, so that's why this is funny. But yeah, I love the Winnebago. In
You haven't seen Star Crash yet, have you?
no,
Okay.
no Star Wreck or Star
No,
Crash.
Star Crash. The movie that was it's Italian Star Wars. It was made in like
I know.
79.
Yeah, we've
It's got
talked
David
about it. We've
Hasselhoff and
talked
shit.
about it. I know of it.
So they do that as well at the
Oh
beginning of
God,
that
of
movie
course they
where
do.
the ship flies over really slow.
Of course they do.
Except that I built a lot of models when I was a kid, and I know whenever you have a ship flying by and I can identify parts that are on the ship, I'm like, oh yeah, those are the wheels from that Russian BMP tank kit, and these, and it's like, oh yeah, these, and there's sections of it that are just like the screws that the parts used to come on, and yeah, it's awesome. That ship is so fucking bad. Like everything in that movie is bad, but that ship in particular is super terrible bad.
Well, here's one of
And
the
they
one oh sorry.
unintentionally did the Spaceballs thing because it flies by for like 5 minutes, and it's like, and
Oh,
it's not to be funny. It was just like, look how cool of a ship we made. That,
oh,
yeah,
jeez. Yeah, look. So now we
Leonov.
have the Leonov,
Yeah,
which is from 2010, which is probably. I mean, I enjoyed 2010, but this is the best thing about 2010. Let's just be clear.
yeah. I also liked between 2001 2010, um, the pods that were in there,
Yes,
little EVA
yes,
pods. Those
yeah.
were cool.
Those are cool. Those are cool. They were definitely cooler than the pods from the Discovery.
Yes,
Absolutely. Yeah,
but
this is.
still, I mean, either way, they were cool. But it was interesting to see, like, okay, the Russians solved the problem this way, and the Americans did it that way.
Yeah.
Thing, right? So,
Did you ever read the book 2010?
yes, yeah, and I even read what was it, 2061?
Yeah.
What was the final one? Yeah,
No, the final one was 3001.
I never read that. I gave up
Don't,
after
don't,
2061.
don't. They found. Remember the co-pilot from Discovery? What was his name? Frank Bowman, right?
Um, no, Bowman. Well, Bowman was the guy that turned into the Star Baby at the end.
So
Yeah,
who was okay?
Poole, Frank
The
Poole.
Poole. They find him floating in space in 3001, and they revive him.
Did he get sucked into a black hole and then he used
No,
gravity to tell his
he was just
daughter
kind of
to?
skirting along.
Oh, because
You
I was gonna
know,
say other. Well, there you go. We got Interstellar again.
no, he was just skirting along, and he was apparently alive. But this movie did. I mean, the only thing I didn't like about the movie after reading the book is that they felt like they had to add the whole Cold War shit to
Yes,
it, because the book didn't have that at all. They were like, "Hey, we're buddies," you know.
right. Because the book, well, the book too, but like 2001, it
Yeah,
was just like humanity has gotten past this shit. Like we've reached the stars. We're like brotherhood of
yeah,
whatever and stuff. but then I guess at the time that 2010 was made,
Yeah.
the Cold War was
Yeah, and
pretty
like it was like
warm. So
84. Yeah, it
yeah,
was
it
like
was like
84.
forefront of everybody's mind was,
Yeah.
like
So they
the
they
day
found like the
after, and
and it's a shame because I don't think they needed to do that at all. There was like no reason, and then it makes the movie a lot more timely.
hmm
Like you watch that movie today, and you're like, why are the Russians? Why are they? If like someone didn't grow up during that time, they're like, why are the Russians not our friends? You know, it just was just so stupid. But this ship was great. This ship was great. I just love. It's just such a utilitarian design. You know, it looks like, hey, this is never landing on a planet. We know it.
yeah,
We built this in
exactly.
space.
It's like it does the one thing that it's supposed to
It
do.
goes from point A to point B and back in space. That's it. And it gets you there alive. And that's what it does. With some gravity, you know. So that is a great ship. What's next on the hit list? Ah, yes. Ah, the Star Car from the last Starfighter. Going back to the last Starfighter. It's a spaceship. It counts.
It's true. It's sort of a grocery getter slash spaceship, but
I love this thing. I still
it's
want
cool,
one.
man.
I still want
Every
one.
the thing I went back and watched last Starfighter, and
Mm-hmm.
the shocking thing to me
Mm-hmm.
was how much BS is in that movie before you ever get to talking about space at all. It was just like, oh my god, there's like an hour of dead movie before anything gets cool.
It's not an hour. It just feels like an hour, but
It does.
it's not actually an hour. It's like maybe half an hour, but it feels like an hour because you're like, let's get to the space already, but it's not actually an hour. Uh, I just wish there was more of the Star Car in this movie. Honestly, you only see it twice. No, three times, but it only flies like twice. Um, but
Speaking
it did
of
make a cameo in Back to the Future too, if you recall.
I have not seen Back to the Future 2.
Really?
I've only seen the first one.
Oh,
I heard there was three.
you should see the other two. They're worth
Okay.
seeing if you like the first one. They're definitely worth seeing.
Yeah. Well, if we were talking about like cool cars in sci-fi, I would say the Landmaster
What's that?
from it was like a Winnebago, but it had like triangular triple wheels and stuff.
Hmm.
It was like a post-apocalyptic. Um, I forget what the hell the show was. Oh, it was Damnation Alley had the thing in it.
Never heard of it.
Um, yeah, it was pretty interesting.
It was a 1970s. Oh, I have seen this thing.
Yep.
They must have used
See,
it in some other
they
thing
used it a
because
lot. It was like that thing from the '80s, right? Where it's like we got a cool prop, we're going to use it in places,
yeah,
much like the flying uterus.
I saw it in Highway to Heaven, and I saw it in Get a Life. I'm not even kidding. It was in those TV shows.
Oh wow,
And yeah, I have seen this thing. What a
they
wacky
found it.
ass.
They actually found it. It
What?
was like in somebody's backyard or
Oh, I
something,
love that. I love
and
that.
there's like a process of restoring it going on right now. So
Yeah,
I
it's
told
in
you about my
Central
buddy Pat,
California.
right? Back
Yeah,
when I was a kid.
yeah.
Um, he had the Galileo from Star Trek, and it
The
like
Galileo.
I don't yeah, the shuttle from the
Oh,
original
right,
series Star Trek.
right. Okay.
He had the frickin' Galileo. The problem was that it was made out of like presswood,
Oh,
and so, then whoever had it before him had it in like a leaky barn or something, so it was like
oh,
half rotted and whatever. So he had started this project of trying to restore it, and then it was way too much for him. So then he got
yeah,
other people involved, and eventually he got distanced from it and just kind of like they took it kind of thing. But it's done now. I saw there was some deal where it was like on tour or something, and they had to like build a new frame so that that it was mobile, right?
yeah.
So it was like let's build this steel frame on wheels, and then we'll rebuild the Galileo around it. But they tried to salvage as much of the original material as they could. So
Yeah, it's kind of
neat.
like the aerial ambulance from Firefly. That thing actually still exists, and it's in a storage somewhere thing, but it's actually gone on tour. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where the the episode Ariel where they steal shit from the hospital in Firefly, and they steal they rebuild an ambulance basically.
Um, no,
Well,
I don't remember it, but I mean, it's like, God, it's been so long since I watched Firefly.
oh, you should watch it
But
again.
I bet that
It's fun.
show's in here.
Oh,
It
the
is.
Serenity's totally in here, but
Yeah.
let's move on to the reimagined Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I like the new Galactica a
Oh, the
lot.
new Galactica
Classic.
is so great.
But the
It
old Galactica was at its best in Space Mutiny, I
Yeah,
feel. Um,
but I loved and the picture I have is kind of like a seriously battle damaged Galactica. This is like the Galactica after several years on the run. So like you can see the craters on the top of it, and you can see where the water thing exploded on the side of it, and pieces of it, parts of it are bent outward and shit. But even with all that damage it got, that thing, like when its back broke in the final episode, I nearly cried. I nearly just fucking cried.
I think the coolest moment of all of Battlestar Galactica
I
is
know the
whenever,
moment. I know the moment you're
yeah,
talking about.
when they warped in the
In the
atmosphere.
atmosphere. That I was screaming at my television. I still revisit that scene on YouTube every now and again because it's just so fucking awesome. And I love how a moment before everyone's like, "Where the fuck is Galactica?" Oh, she's in the fucking atmosphere. Holy shit! Holy
Yeah, well,
fuck, that's
I
amazing.
like. I also liked how the ships warped in and out there because it was very, it was instant yet very violent.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it was a thing that that just it basically just like ripped space,
Yeah,
and yeah, it was like an explosion with no fire.
exactly.
Very very cool.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful ship. It and do you remember the final episode where her back broke and like the whole ship just like kind of went gunk, and you could just tell that its main like supporting frame just snapped and it was
Is
never going
that
to jump again. And that's right before they sent it into the sun, which that's a whole nother fucking Oprah, because that episode was so fucking stupid in the end. Ugh.
well? Yeah, like everything about the last season was bad,
You
but the
know, you,
closer they got to the end, okay, at the point when Starbuck came back from the dead,
oh
and
God.
this is yet another
Oh
this
God.
is yet another J.J. Abrams style like fuckery of the audience, right? Because they were trying to do the same bullshit that Lost was doing,
Oh
where
really?
they're just like, here's a cool thing. Well, we don't have any plan for that, but wouldn't it be cool if, we'll just
Uh,
open this can of worms? So they had cans of worms open everywhere,
oh
and they
God,
never went
yeah.
back and tied anything
Nope.
up, right?
No, they
So it
didn't.
was just like, well, here comes Starbuck. She's back from the dead, right? Because we needed to have a cliffhanger where she got killed, but
Yeah.
then we're going to bring her back. Is she a Cylon? What's going on? Well,
No,
she
she's
doesn't
an
know. She's
angel.
crazy.
She's an angel
Oh my
or
fucking
something.
God.
You know what? They
And
should have just stopped at 33, or maybe I should have just stopped at 33, because 33, you know what I'm talking about. It's one of
oh
the
yes, I do.
finest episodes of science fiction television ever made.
Yep.
Just fucking, and it was. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was all fucking downhill from there, just slowly for a while, with some
Exactly.
moments of
Like
up
they shot their wad in the first season,
in the first
and
episode, and then it was like down, down, a little bit up, down, down, a little bit up, down, a little bit up, and then
yeah.
it was such a shame. And the worst part about it is we had to wait like a year for some of that shit. Like what? But the ship was cool. I always liked the Galactica more than the Pegasus. The Pegasus was like too bulbous, whereas this just looked mean and metal and old and
Yeah, and
tough.
and also I liked how the nacelles on the side, the hangers, would pull in when it
Yeah,
was
when
going
they're
to
about to
jump.
jump. Yeah, that I really like that. I
Yeah,
really
there
like
was
that.
there was a lot about that thing. Like, who was it? It was Zoic, wasn't it, that did all the
Yeah,
space stuff? Yeah,
yeah.
those guys are awesome.
Same people who did Firefly and Serenity. Zoic.
Yeah, they should
Yeah.
just do they should just
Everything.
do a
Just
show
do
with
everything.
spaceships and no fucking people, and then you can't screw it up. It's only when they have like too much humanity that
Uh,
shit gets screwed up.
yeah, what's next? Oh, of course. Millennium Falcon. We don't have to say a lot about this. I mean, everyone fucking
What
loves.
the fuck's an aluminum falcon?
He's actually crying. That was so amazing.
God, you know, Seth Green. I want to hug him
I
sometimes.
know. I love him. He was so great on Buffy and Greg the Bunny, and you just give him his own show, and he just runs with it. It's incredible. So yeah, the Millennium Falcon is just a classic. For a while, it was my favorite spaceship of all time. He just didn't get any better. Though we've tried flying it in space games ever since, and you're like, what the fuck is this? How does anyone fly this? What?
Right. Well, the thing that I thought was very interesting about it
Yeah.
is that it was sort of a decrepit piece of shit that was held together by, chewing gum and a prayer.
Well, it looked
And
like a decrepit piece of shit on the outside, but
right, but
like
it was a little
it
bit of a sleeper,
yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
It could fly rings around just about anything, you
Yeah, but
know.
it was a thing where it was like Solo and the Wookiee, right?
It
And
sounds like a
and
great 70s cop show. Solo and the Wookiee. Set Friday
if they,
nights at 9 on
dude,
ABC.
when they do the Han Solo movie, it would be really cool if the guys that wrote the dialogue from Almost Human, the
Oh,
buddy cop shit
oh,
in the car,
yes.
if they wrote some
Yes.
dialogue like that for Solo and
Yes.
Chewbacca, just
Yes.
just like,
I'm in complete agreement with you. The
oh my
best
God, that would
Almost Human. Mwah.
yeah,
I miss that show so much.
it will never happen,
I
right?
miss that show so much.
But it's just like if you could just show, I don't know, like how do you do Han Solo and Chewbacca in they can't do a movie or another movie with Harrison Ford. I hope not,
Isn't it
right?
isn't it young? Isn't it young Han
That's what I'm thinking.
Solo?
It's going to have to be like young Indiana Jones,
Yeah,
right?
which wasn't bad.
And no, but it has to be like a young Solo. So originally he was a TIE fighter pilot,
Yeah.
and then I think his decision point was basically like whenever he freed the Wookiees.
Yeah, he didn't like seeing the
He was
Wookiees in
part of that,
slavery, and so yeah, he
right?
freed
And
them.
then Chewbacca, the whole life debt and
Life debt
everything.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Please, please, please make the movie be that. Please,
I
can we
would not.
please have that?
They probably will. I mean, that's what people want to see.
That's yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that makes frickin'
It
sense,
is the
right?
only
That
thing that makes
that
sense.
is the
Yeah.
only thing in Solo and Wookiee history that I give a shit about.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go back and show like the card game where he won the Millennium Falcon from Colt 45.
I'd
But
be okay with that too. If they went back. And
yeah,
maybe no, the first movie is that it ends where he saves. No, it'd have to be no, because he was a TIE fighter pilot before
well,
he got the
you know what the
Falcon.
deal would be? They need to end it with him sitting down at the poker table.
Yeah, the
That would
Sabic,
be
the Sabic table.
it
Yeah,
would be the whole like TIE fighter thing for a
yeah,
little bit of the movie. Have it be like a little bit of Top Gun, and then he
yeah,
has decision point, right? And how he gets away
yeah.
with Chewbacca and shit, and then they end up like on Tatooine at the cantina, and they sit down to a poker game, and there's Lando.
Right.
Roll the credits.
Now,
That would work because everybody would know like, oh, this is when it happened, right? So, but you don't have to show the frickin' poker game, right?
right.
That's when you just say like, nudge, wink. Here's what
Any
and good night.
a good Star Wars fan will know what's happening. So
Exactly.
so the next ship is a bit obscure. It's from a Star Trek Next Generation episode called The Booby Trap. It's where they find a 1,000-year-old Promelian battle cruiser in an asteroid field, and they get snared into the same trap that snared this cruiser 1,000 years ago. It was very hard to find a good picture of this thing, but I always liked how it looked like a ship from 1,000 years ago. Just no, just kind of pieces jutting out of it, like a very clear bridge section. Do you remember this episode at all? It's where Geordi fell in love with the hologram, or the
Nope.
yeah. He had to, for some reason he couldn't talk to his whole engineering crew. He had to bring up a hologram of the person who designed the Enterprise's engines, who was this really hot chick, and he fell for the really hot chick on the holodeck.
So I wonder though, like if we had holodeck technology like that, right? And you
It
could
would have
just
to be
have
it would have to
if
be
you could have
self-cleaning. It
if
would
you
have to
could
be
have
self-cleaning holodeck
I
technology.
know if you could have super hot girlfriend on demand and it had an off switch, right? And you know. But it could be, but you could like tailor like the perfect
Yeah.
companion for you. Then why do you need real people at that point, right? Like there should have been some Star Trek exploration of that. Like who just lives in a holodeck because they don't want to deal with the real world.
Right.
That
Exactly.
would have been a pretty interesting exploration. It would have been like, nerds living in mom's basement. But
Yeah.
no, I just live in the holodeck now because
Like Barkley, you'd be like Barkley, who was a great character, such a great character. So
is
the
that a
next,
dog?
so
That
no,
was that
Lieutenant,
was the Star Trek dog, right? It was Barkley,
no, no,
Charles. Oh,
that was the Battlestar Galactica dog.
that was
Uh,
Daggett.
oh God, Daggett,
I
fucking
was
remember
so
Daggett.
disappointed they didn't have a damn Daggett
I
in
was
the
super happy they didn't
Black.
have a damn Daggett in the new series. Super fucking happy.
Oh no.
So this ship, of course, everyone should know this ship, the NSEA Protector from Galaxy Quest. This ship is fucking great. You know what I love about this ship? It could take a fucking beating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This thing got hit by missiles and mines and all kinds of shit and like just had some scratches on the hull. Really? I mean, it got damaged inside, I guess, but this is a tough little ship. Really wacky design. Like kind of like a weird frisbee boomerang thing with like a dildo in the middle of it. I don't know. But I love Galaxy Quest, so I kind of love this ship because of it. Did you hear they're making a show? They're going to actually make a show.
Um, not sure how I'm feeling about that.
I'm not either, but since it was based on a show, the movie was based on a fake show, I'd love to see what they do with this fake show. So what's next? There you go. This is one you requested. The Roger Young from Starship Troopers, one of the only good things about Starship Troopers. Really?
Yes. If you liked the combat stuff in Starship Troopers and the spaceships
Yeah,
and
that
whatnot,
wasn't bad.
the anime that they did is really good.
Oh no, I have. It's more CGI, right? Because I have that.
Yeah.
It's called Roughnecks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've watched. I have all of it, and I've watched the. I finished the first season a little while back. Really incredible, really really good. Like the CGI is like, oh god, my eyes. But if you get past that, if you get past that, it's really a good show. Much more in spirit with the books than the book. Excuse me, than the movie was. But this was a good ship. I like the design of this ship. Very, very functional. Very simple. It looks like a space-bound warship. I love the engine pods. I think that's my favorite thing about it are those, like, crazy-ass looking engine pods in the back. What is, oh, for God's sakes. What is that?
Yeah, you probably don't want to put that on the stream.
I'm not putting that on the stream.
I'm just looking at Lego ships and somebody made well, it's a space dick.
Yeah.
But
Space dick. The engines are the balls. But now we have a classic.
it looks like the Serenity yet aroused.
Oh, jeez. So now we have a classic. Serenity. For a while, this is my favorite ship. For a while, I really do love this ship. It's a ship I can easily imagine living on. And I like how the Firefly universe has no like faster than light speed travel. I kind of like that. Kind of makes it a little grounded in reality, as much as a show like this can be grounded in reality. But something about the design of Serenity, it's like it looks like an old rust bucket, but it's kind of like a Millennium Falcon a little bit, and that's fast and maneuverable. And well, if you've seen Serenity, the movie, it's fast and maneuverable.
Yeah. Hey, so in the chat, I just posted. There's somebody actually made. It looks like a plastic model.
Oh God, yeah,
Flying
there it
Eater.
is. Yeah, this is what I was saying. If you,
Unless that was a toy back in the.
I don't think so. I don't think there. I don't think
yeah.
there were toys of this thing. This looks like a 3D printed model or something. But yeah, you look at it from the side. And it looks like more of a normal spaceship type thing. It's when you look at it from the front. What are people in the chat saying about Bob's Burgers? What is wrong with you people? Anyway, Uh,
Oh wow,
yeah.
check this out. Do we have this even on the list? The frickin' Valley Forge from Silent Running.
What's Silent Running?
Oh God. Okay, so Bruce Dern. Are you familiar with Bruce Dern?
Yes.
Okay, Bruce Dern, space hippie, is on this ship that basically like Earth was dying, so they took all the biospheres of Earth and put them in domes on spaceships and sent them away, right? Like, go away from Earth, and then when we fix the climate, you can bring the animals and plants back, right,
Right.
or whatever.
Sure.
But it was basically like Noah's Arks that went out into the universe. Well, halfway through the movie, the government calls them up and says, "Yeah, fuck it, eject all that nature, and just come back home because we're not going to fund this trip anymore or something." Like the money is already spent, right? It didn't make sense, but they
Right.
were just like, "All right, abort the mission, eject all of Mother Nature into space and whatever." And Bruce Dern was like a granola eating hippie spaceman, and decided that no, I'm going to probably just murder the other crew and continue the mission. Right? So that's what the movie was about. But the cool thing in there, and I'll put this up on the Facebook page because I saw a documentary about it today, in fact,
Right.
where it was talking about Huey, Dewey, and Louie, the three droids that were in the movie, and how they did the practical effect of these robots walking around was actually double amputees. It was people that didn't have legs, and they
Huh?
were walking on their hands
What?
inside the robot suits. Yeah, it was like if R2D2 had little legs instead of wheels.
Right.
It was yeah,
We just had
yeah.
some.
I'll
We must be getting popular because we actually had some trolls in the chat room that I actually had to ban. I've never
oh neat
banned anyone in our chat room before. We
skulls.
made it, man. We're
We're
somebody. All right, let's see what's the next ship.
yeah. So what was that? What was all that message deleted? Were you actually deleting it,
I
or
I banned them. Yes, I banned them
oh, so when
from
you
the.
banned them, it deleted
It
everything?
looks
I
like it
didn't.
did. Yeah.
I didn't get to see what they said. I'm so sad.
You're not missing anything.
Hmm.
You're not missing a thing. So you suggested this ship, the classic Borg cube,
Yep.
which
Because that's a case of somebody
pure
just like
function,
somebody
pure
just was
function.
like,
Yeah,
fuck it, just make a box,
pure function.
make it
No,
fly.
no. Yeah, it doesn't need to go in orbit. I mean, in atmosphere, and even if it does, whatever,
Yep.
whatever. So yeah, it's
Yeah, here in the chat, these are the three drones from Silent Running. Now, just when you look at this, just realize like there are people with amputated legs walking on their hands in those things.
hang on. Oh, geez,
That's what makes this movie so frickin' amazing.
that's
Is
terrible.
well, I mean, they didn't cut their legs off just for the movie. I mean, it was they found them that way. So, it was but yeah, I mean, in the documentary thing, they actually like interview the people who were doing it, and the actors, and they were just like overjoyed to actually find a role that they could be in that was, something like that. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like that, like at all. That's just weird. Uh, but yeah, the Borg cube. I love how I love. It's just so Borg because the Borg's are like we don't care about anything but function, and this ship is just purely function. There's nothing pretty about this. I don't think. Some people like this ship. I think it's boring as fuck. But that's what works for the Borg, I guess. You know. So let's see what's next. We were talking about this earlier. Star Chaser: The Legend of Orin. I actually had this on VHS many, many years ago. I loved this ship. This is
so
just
it
such
was
a
kind of
neat
a
design.
Star Wars yet fantasy thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like this guy escapes from a mine or something. He's a slave, but apparently there's a prophecy or some shit about him freeing the slaves, and so they try and get him back, and he runs in with this guy who owns the Star
Was it like
Chaser.
I am Starticus?
Maybe it's been so long since I've seen it, but I
Was he
remember.
was he a space gladiator?
I remember how this ship landed. This ship landed because Do you remember the
That
engines?
ship is kind of Serenity looking, but yeah.
Yeah, the engines would swivel to 90 degrees, and then the front portion with that telescoping looking neck would like lean down, and so it would not only have a landing gear strut, it would have a ramp, so it looked kind of like like a bird coming to rest, and it was really nifty. And this is the only picture that I could find of the fucking thing.
Oh, that's pretty neat though.
Yeah, no, I really dug this ship. But I had to figure out, like, I couldn't remember the name of the movie. So I had to type stuff like 1980, 1980s animated movie about a boy slave or whatever into Google, you know? And, and this actually came up rather quickly, actually. So, wow, Google. Good job there. But yeah, this was a great design, I thought. All right, so let's see what's next. It's funny how that came up earlier yes, the Sulaku from Aliens. What a mean looking ship, right?
Yep.
What
And
a
it was definitely purpose built. And
definitely purpose built.
yeah.
All these antennae in the front and shit. It did have a it did I think either you or someone else was asking if it had a spinning section, and it did. It had a little tiny spinning section in the
Okay.
middle, if I
Yeah, because
recall.
I was thinking like it was a little bit inspired by the Leonov.
A little bit, but this
It was like let's take the Leonov and bolt a bunch of guns onto it.
let's take the laying off and just make it badass. Let's not make it more sciencey. Let's just make it more warshipy, and that's
Well, this is actually like 2010 after Spock goes back and tells them about the Borg, and then the Leonov is all guns.
the sad thing is you
Except that
don't.
there was a model of it on his desk.
Oh God, the
So
sad thing is you don't get to see a lot of this ship. There weren't a lot of really good pictures of it that I could find. This was the best one. You see
yeah,
more of the inside than anything else.
yeah. I think if you want to see it, you have to buy that Aliens Colonial Marines game.
Oh really? It's in there?
Yeah.
What?
Well, ship that's just like it. But
Oh,
yeah,
oh yeah.
that's if you can get that game for I don't know 25 cents or something,
Nah.
then
No,
maybe.
I don't. I've already got that Space Beast Terror game, which is randomly generated and doesn't have a story I don't have to care about. So I'm fine.
It's randomly awesome.
It
It's
really
true.
is. It really is. All right. So what's next on the hit parade? Ah, my new favorite ship. It's I'm not sure when this became my favorite ship, but it's the TARDIS from Doctor Who. And this became my favorite ship when I realized, wow, it's got almost an infinite amount of space inside, and it can go
Is
anywhere in time and space. Like,
is it really a spaceship though?
it is a
Because
spaceship. It flies
I
in space, sure.
I didn't. Does he actually fly it
Yeah.
anywhere?
Oh yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
okay, because it's like all that I've ever seen is it disappears and then reappears,
Hang on.
but it's on.
Uh, there's an amazing car chase
Oh,
from
but
one
see,
of the Chris.
that's a car, right? I remember where they were like flying and he's like hanging out the door and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
But he
but
also does
that's
fly.
not
But he
space.
also does fly through space. There are bits of episodes where they are just hanging around flying in space. Yeah, the thing can totally fly in space.
Okay.
But it has this precise way of landing and taking off where it could just go anywhere almost, really, that it can fit. So yeah, it's old, it's cranky, it needs six people to fly it, and it's only him, that's why it's always shaking about. But I would love to have a TARDIS. Go anywhere in time and space and like have like libraries and swimming pools and movie theaters and everything just in your ship, and you can land it anywhere and it's bigger on the inside. It's fucking great. You know, why would you want anything else? I don't need guns. I just want to go everywhere. And that could literally take you everywhere. It's been from one end of time to the other, one end of the universe to the other. I mean, what other ship can do that? You know? So yeah, the TARDIS has really become my favorite ship. If I had to pick a ship that I would want for myself, it would be the TARDIS. It's kind of weird. Like I didn't expect that. But yeah, it's such a great ship. Especially when
It's not very sexy though.
it's
It's
not. It's not sexy. Well, the thing is on the
it's
outside
sort of a phone booth.
on the outside it's not sexy, but on the inside it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
It's
Well,
absolutely
on the
amazing in
inside,
there.
it was just like they could just keep, having rooms.
Yeah,
There's, it's
exactly.
just like, what's this? And basically, you just walk into any giant building on Earth and just be like, yeah, this is in the TARDIS. Looks
Yeah,
like the Sistine Chapel. Yes,
yeah.
because it's
We're still in a spaceship. Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I love this ship.
What if all of Earth is actually inside the TARDIS
That'd be crazy.
and we just don't know it?
Where's the door? Actually, Mo85 is right. The TARDIS looks like a phone booth because its chameleon circuit is broken, and it's stuck in that mode. Like when you saw the Master's TARDIS,
Uh-huh.
it could be like a Roman column or whatever, because it had a chameleon circuit, so it could change to be whatever.
Mhm.
But the Doctor's TARDIS is stuck as a blue
Speak
box.
Speaking of the Master,
Yeah,
did you ever see the Doctor Who movie?
I did not.
Not the one with Peter Cushing,
No, 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 no.
the other one.
The one with Eric Stoltz. No,
Yeah,
Eric
and Aaron
Roberts.
Aaron Robert.
Eric
Yeah,
Roberts and oh, I forget the guy's name, but he's
the
a
guy
great
that was
actor.
Doctor Who that
Peter
one
McGann.
time.
McGann.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a short webisode before the 50th anniversary that was just so fucking good. I've heard the movie isn't that great though.
It's an 80s movie.
But it was in the
Well,
90s.
90s.
That's the thing.
Well,
It was in the
okay.
'90s.
Yeah,
It was like
okay.
a
So it
Fox
had the
TV movie in the
lameness.
'90s or
It had
something.
the lameness of a 90s movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was lame. Um,
So many people requested this. A bunch of people actually requested this one. This is the Shadow Ship from Babylon 5, which is just so fucking creepy looking.
Goddamn space spiders.
Yeah,
What's going
so
on?
creeps me the fuck out. This thing does. So creepy. But yeah, never liked this ship. Creeps me the fuck out. Looks like a giant tick, and that's why it freaks me out. So let's see what's next. Ah, here you go. What's that ship that you like from the black hole? I like the other. Oh shit! I like the other ship from the black hole, the little
Well,
one.
the Palomino,
Yeah, I like the Palomino. But which one
because
was
it
this?
looks fairly practical.
Yeah.
It's a soup can with
While you have the
rockets on bottom.
Cygnus, which is the giant like fucking garden
Yeah,
with
it's a
engines.
greenhouse
It's a
in
fucking
space.
greenhouse with yeah, it's a greenhouse with engines and a fucking tower on on the back of it. I never liked this design. It looked like it was just a bunch of glass sections held together by fucking metal girders. I just it's just such a poor design, and
Yeah, it was just a completely frickin' weird ship. Although I kind of loved it for that, right? And then
yeah,
it
I
was
mean the
full of
whole movie
zombies.
is fucking weird. The whole movie is fucking weird.
That
But
might have been the first incidence of space zombies in cinema.
space zombies? I don't even remember. I think I've
Oh
blocked
yeah,
this.
all the crew was dead, man.
That's right. I forgot about that. I've blocked this movie. I've blocked a lot of this movie out. The only thing I haven't blocked out is the other robot that
Hillbilly
had
Bob.
the hillbilly Bob robot
Yeah.
and the Palomino. Those are the only thing. Oh, and Maximilian, because Maximilian was fucking amazing.
You know what
Um,
what amazed me about that movie
huh?
was that whole scene with Anthony Perkins where Maximilian drills his heart out through the book.
Oh
I
God.
I was just like I was sitting in the theater and what year did this movie come out? 79.
79. It
Okay,
says.
so I'm 9 years old, right?
Jesus.
And I'm
Yeah.
sitting in the theater and I was just like a little bit of cringe, right? I wasn't like, oh,
Sure.
that's so cool. I was just like, I am really surprised that they put that in a kids movie.
It's a
Was
fucking
what
Disney.
went
Yeah, it's
through
a
my
Disney
head.
movie. It's a fucking
Yeah,
Disney movie.
I was just like, that's kind of horrific. I turned to my mom and I was like, that's pretty horrific. It's like, why did they put that in a kids movie? That's wow. Because it's like it didn't like disturb me or whatever, right? I was just like, that's really out of place. Yeah.
Oh, Waystone calls it the Eiffel Tower in space. That's exactly what it fucking is. Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God, it is.
That
Yes.
you're so right, Waystone.
The
Oh
nasty
my God.
French.
The fucking Eiffel Tower in space. You're absolutely right. And he says it's ridiculous and beautiful. It's highly impractical. Death Scretion says it's highly impractical. It's got a
I'll
big
show you.
bullseye.
I'll show you ridiculous and beautiful. So there was this movie called The War in Space.
Oh God, it already sounds terrible.
It was Japanese Star Wars kind of
What
thing.
is this? Is this an Ewok with an axe? What is this?
That's the dreaded banana Wookie from.
Oh God, what
It's
the
got like
fuck?
banana horns.
What the fuck?
It's ridiculous.
What?
So, yeah,
What?
the pirate guy in this movie. Well, okay, so it's got uh, the Japanese ship, the Gotengo. It's
Yeah.
basically a submarine with a drill on the nose. If you've seen that, and it was in, it's been in a couple of Godzilla movies and stuff. It was the Atragon was the original name of it, and it
Yeah.
was like a World War II super submarine thing in that movie. Um, anyway, so that's the good guy's ship, and the bad guy, who is a space pirate, it is actually a pirate ship with cannons and sails
What?
in space.
That sounds familiar.
Yes,
That sounds
yes.
familiar.
And remember when we looked at and it was like Kerbal Space Program, and they had
Oh yes.
the pirate galleon in space? It's straight up that in
Hmm.
this movie. I just can't find a good picture of it, but it's yeah, and it's got like a big dragon on the prow. You know, like
Yeah.
the whatever the hell that is. You know, the statue on the front of the ship is this
Right.
dragon, and it actually shoots fire out of the
Oh
mouth.
jeez.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's amazing.
Well, now I've got up the Enterprise refit slash A, which I to me is the first ship I really found ever fell in love with. I mean, I liked the Enterprise from the original series,
Yeah,
but when I first saw this one in the motion picture, it just clicked. It's still my favorite Enterprise out of all of them.
yeah. Oh my God, it had oars too. I found a picture of it,
What? What?
and it was made by Toho, um, because Toho. But this is actually the DVD cover. Okay, there you go.
Posted in the chat. Okay.
Oh my God, so Power Rangers, it hurts.
Oh God, it's got a drill in the front.
Well, the Goten, yeah, that's the good guy's ship.
Oh God, I love their
If
outfits.
you watch
Oh my God, their
if
outfits
you
are
watch
amazing.
Godzilla the last one, whatever the hell that was, it was Godzilla Armageddon, or I can't even remember the name of
What
it.
the hell?
That is what fights Godzilla
Oh God.
in that movie.
What?
But look below that at the frickin' pirate ship with oars
I did see that. That's
and
pretty
the
impressive.
and the giant dragon on the front. Oh God, it hurts. Um, yeah, space oars.
But
Whoever was your boat, I guess.
right. But Darzal says he likes the NX Enterprise a little more than this one. I can understand that. That was an interesting design.
I was offended. Actually, I
Offended?
yeah. Okay, so they go back and they do like a pre-original series Enterprise with Captain Archer and shit, right?
Right.
Yet the ship is not more primitive than the Enterprise ships. It looks like something that is perhaps beyond even the next generation ship, right? It's almost like the Borg took over the Enterprise, and that's what this thing looks
Eh,
like. And it's just like, no, God damn it, you know, make it. I want something that looks like I don't know, like take the thing from First Contact,
yeah.
right? And then go like 50 years in the future from that, right? And it's like make it look like something that NASA would have came up with,
Yeah.
you know, something like that. Because like in Starfleet battles, they actually had the ship list for like the primitive ships, like
Oh,
the
really?
original like Federation and Romulan War. Well, it wasn't even a Federation then; it was basically like humans versus Romulans, whatever. And we were tossing nukes at each other in space, right? So it's just like,
Right.
yeah, show me that shit. I want to see something that's like more spacey, because that's always been the problem in Star Trek is they treat space like it just ain't space, you know, like it's not deadly, and you know that like the only one time was in Star Trek Generations when people like got sucked out into space and then it was like, oh yeah, hey, space is some deadly shit, you know. But otherwise, it's just like, oh, just put a force field up, you know, and there's a hole in the hull. Oh, who cares? There's force fields. It'll keep the air in, you know, no big deal. It's like a spaceship is more like an office building in that show. I wanted to see like primitive space travel where space alone is fucking deadly, and you know we don't have
Sounds
to worry
like
about Klingons.
sounds like Interstellar.
Kind of,
Sorry.
except for the spiritual message and the family values. But yes,
You know what's interesting about the Enterprise is that some of them look great and some of them look boring as fuck. Like, I think the classic Enterprise from the original series is a little boring. I love this Enterprise. The
yeah, that's
Enterprise,
the best.
yeah,
That right there, the refit
yeah,
Enterprise A
the
is the
best,
best
the
fucking
best.
ship in all of Star Trek.
Well,
There, I said it. And
I can't really
but
disagree with you. I love the Defiant, but this is pretty classic. But the
dude, when that
Enterprise
thing came
B,
on the screen in the movie,
yeah,
there
exactly.
was a reason that first movie spent like 3 hours
Yeah, exactly.
flying
Like I was
around the
saying, that was the
space
first
dock and
ship
showing that.
exactly. That was the first ship I really fell in love with. But just as Emo, excuse me, in the chat, the Enterprise B was basically like an Excelsior with some extra shit bolted onto it. Ooh, and then the C, that was such a dull design. You know, for the Enterprise C,
Yeah, the
just
C was the one where the nacelle wings went straight out flat and then came straight up, right?
so boring.
Yeah, it
It
was
re-
pretty weird.
you know what it reminded me of? You remember cars in the early '80s? Like, remember '60s and '70s cars had soul, and then you get to
Yeah,
then you get to the '80s and shit just like gets really corporate and boring. It reminded me of that. Like, remember the 1981 Mustang? How boring that motherfucking Mustang is. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that's a Mustang. Looks like a fucking Ford Taurus. You know, that's like the Ford Taurus of
yeah.
Enterprises. Is
I'm
the
I'm
C?
trying to find, and this is difficult,
What's
right?
that?
Because there have been, oh yeah, here it is. Um, Star Trek 2, where they had
Star Trek Two.
concept enterprises for, yeah, because it was like Gene Roddenberry wanted to make another Star Trek, but before the movie,
Oh, the
right?
show. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
so
yes,
this is the
yes.
concept of the Enterprise from the Star Trek 2, and
Yes,
then you will
I've
understand
seen this. I have
you will
seen this.
understand the C model completely once you see
Yeah,
this
I've
because
seen
it
this.
was like an
It's
homage
awful.
to Star Trek
It's
2.
so awful. It's so
It was that ship basically.
it looks like a spastic Enterprise. Like, "Ugh!" You know,
Yeah,
it's basically like, oh god, it looks like a scared Enterprise. Like it's
never go
startled.
full Enterprise.
It looks startled. This
Yeah,
Enterprise looks startled, is what happened here. But yeah,
yeah.
this refit here, the refit slash A, just such I must have had four
Well,
models of this.
here's another one. This is another reason that I'm glad Star Trek 2 didn't happen.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that one. What
That
an
would have been the worst.
awful.
It's like a Star Destroyer with the frickin' saucer bolted onto the top
It's like
of
they
it.
flattened a Star Destroyer, they made it into like a pizza, put a couple of nacelles on it, and then kept the saucer. It's like why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? But no, this ship. I should find out more about the design of this ship because I swear I had three or four models. I had two that lit up. You know,
Oh, very
because I
nice.
loved this ship. Emo says, "Have we seen the Polar Lights Enterprise model? It's gorgeous. Link us in the chat. Put a link in there. So what's next on the hit parade? Ah, yes, the classic X-wing fighter. Really, there besides the Falcon, this is like the iconic Star Wars ship. If you think about it, like you have the Star Destroyer, you have the Falcon, and then you have this, and Tie Fighter, I guess. But I don't know. I think this is looked upon more fondly because, of course, it was Luke's ship. But I think it also has some more personality than a Tie Fighter.
Well, yeah, the T-16 just doesn't get any love. The fucking skyhoppers, man. You know, because you could really like kick the shit out of a womp
So
rat
operants,
with
yeah.
those things.
Just like fucking operants back home. No, what was it, the T-65? I think that's what this one was. And such a great design. Like I think I really took like it almost takes your breath. I think it almost took my breath away the first time I saw it. I mean, there's no reason for it to be shaped like this at all in space, like none. But since it can fly in the atmosphere, I guess. But it never made any sense to me why the S foils need to separate. Like that was I've never found a good explanation for that.
Um, I guess it's for convergence of the beams or something,
Maybe.
because you get like a bigger spread, like better odds of hitting a TIE fighter. I guess I
I
don't know.
suppose.
I
But
you know really why? Because it fucking looks cool.
it does
That's
look
why.
very cool. One thing I love is it's a little touch. I love how the guns have like blast suppressors on them at the end there, so like the pilot isn't blinded or something.
No, that's just
Maybe.
Flash Gordon shit. They
Oh, really? I thought they were
imagine
like
imagine if they'd have put concentric rings or something, right? Like
really.
like a 1960s like ray gun,
Oh, is that what that's
right?
all about?
Yeah, it's something like that. I think that's the homage to
I
Flash
see.
Gordon ray gun technology.
I see. All right, let's see what the next one is. Oh, nope. Is that the last one? That might be the last one. That is the last one. Oh my God, we made it. Two
Yep.
hours later, we made it all the way to the
Yeah.
end.
You know,
Wow.
we don't have a Miranda class from Star Trek though, and
Oh,
really
the
really
Reliant.
yeah, the Reliant was great.
It really was a good design, solid design that just kept getting used over and over again in Star Trek because it's a workhorse of the fleet. What was that other ship? That science vessel? Remember that weird science vessel? They showed up in Klingon Academy a lot in the beginning. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's got like that. It looks like a almost like a canoe with a saucer on top of it.
Yes, yes. What
Yeah,
the hell was that?
Oberth class, I think it
Yeah,
is.
Oberth. Oberth. Yes, yes. The
Yeah,
Oberth.
I'm almost ashamed that I know that so easily. It's like,
No, no, no,
yeah,
no.
I'm a
That
nerd. It's
no.
okay.
You're absolutely right, you guys. It's the Oberth class. Um, yeah, definitely. Apparently, they're still used quite a bit. Yeah, I never understood how you got from one section of the ship to the other
Yeah.
on that.
Oh, and
There's no
we
like.
should have special mention for Captain Pike's wheelchair
Oh,
as a.
I thought you were gonna say we should have special mention for the captain's yacht in the
uh,
Next Generation Enterprise that we never actually got to see.
I was gonna ask, like, did they ever actually?
No,
Because I think it
it was
only existed
in
as
the
a
in the
footnote on the
technical
blueprint.
manual. In the
Yeah,
technical manual, that's the only place. That's the only place it ever existed that I
would have been
remember.
really cool if the captain's yacht had actually been a runabout.
Yeah, yeah, and like when he went on his holiday, that's what he took. You know,
Yeah.
that would have been great. So we went through a lot of ships tonight. There's many in here, and we will definitely be show. I'll definitely be adding these to the post on the site. But there are a lot of good ships from movies and TV shows, and some of them we could fly, and some of them we can't. Like out of all these movie and TV shows, ships, we'll end with this. Which one do you wish you could fly in a video game that we haven't been able to before?
Oh my.
I know it's tough,
Um,
right? It's tough. It's very tough.
I'm almost saying like the space uterus. It's just because of absurdity.
It
Like
did
if they
kick
would
some
actually,
ass. That ship
yeah,
did kick
but
some
if they
ass.
just built a game around that ridiculous thing, that would be pretty cool. But no, if it was honestly, I want to fly in saucer in a game because nobody has done it.
Not
Well,
really, yeah.
it was done like in a sublogic thing where they did a
Yeah.
UFO sim, but it wasn't a frickin' saucer. Now there was that one game that never came out, and you and I have both played it because I think we both
I
got like
what's the
press
name? I
copies
can't
and stuff.
remember the fucking name of it. It was like
And
flying. Was it Flying Saucer? I think that's what it was just simply called. Was Flying Saucer.
yeah, and
I
it's
I
oh
think
my god,
that's
I found it, found a frickin' you know what, the download of this beast has got to be out there somewhere. That it can't be dead. Here's a screenshot from the game.
yeah. It was called Flying
Uh,
Saucer.
and
Yes, that was
that's
it.
a yep. that's the thing that we didn't mention is what about the ship from Flight of the Navigator,
Oh,
the
fuck me. Oh, the what?
USS Rubens?
The the SS Pee Wee. Yes.
USS
Fuck, I love that ship. That's right. How can we just watched Fly the Navigator again a few months ago. Still holds up.
Yeah,
Totally holds up.
I heard they're doing a reboot of it
Oh
or
God, I
something.
hope not.
I'm afraid.
It's such an '80s thing. It's such an '80s thing. It would not work now. I don't
No.
think that would work now. Oh my God. Whoa, wait, what? Oh my God, a custom 6-foot Enterprise A. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's even got a.
Oh, oh
Oh
my
my
God. I just
God.
found it, dude. It's on I found an abandonware site that's got a
Okay,
flying
link it to me.
saucer
Link
game.
it to me later. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God, these models are amazing. Are you seeing this? The image. Hang on. Let me put this in the window here, so people can see how amazing that looks. Look at that. That's that's incredible. Oh, I want that. I wish I had a place big enough for that. Oh, and the money to buy it. Oh, that's just absolutely gorgeous. Look at.
I'm waiting on the stream to change so that I can see this vision.
Oh, he linked it in the chat. You can just.
Oh, oh,
It's the last image in the chat. Oh my God, that's just
oh,
gorgeous.
that is nice.
Oh, I need a moment alone with this picture. I'm sorry, not to get dirty, but I need a moment alone with this and a towel. Oh my! I think. Oh, look at the picture. The guy I think might be holding his own crotch.
Might be.
It.
So I like well what's interesting, right, is like they did the Aztecing on the saucer really well and on the side, right?
Yeah.
But I had never noticed it on the nacelles like that because it looks almost like digital camo or some shit. Um,
Oh, do you mean the blue ridges on the inner
no,
part
no,
of the
no,
nacelle?
the gray and white, the contrasted,
Oh,
the
oh yeah,
gray and
totally,
white
totally.
stripe
There
stuff.
were definitely different colored stripes on the nacelles. The models had those too, and that's amazing detail. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's just the thing of the pattern on there. I never
Yeah,
realized it as prominently as that of
it's
how
almost
striking it
like
was.
it's almost like camo almost in a way.
Kinda, yeah. But on the dish itself, um, I because I've seen people when they do the model kit stuff, and then you
Yeah.
have to paint that shit by hand, and it's
Oh.
like wow, you know. Try doing that and not getting brush strokes and stuff, and have like perfectly square corners, and oh god. So, but there was somebody that was making a thing. Hell, it might have even been this guy. It was like the progress shots of like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that kind of thing as it went
Oh.
along. Um,
I'm
but yeah,
I'm
it was a big model. I don't know if it was this dude or not, but
I'm
it was a
so jealous
also
of this
lighted
guy.
model.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
That wow, what do you do with that? Where do you put it?
You
Where
have
where could
you have a really big fireplace and you put it above that. That's like the
I
centerpiece.
I guess, man, or it's a coffee table. Like you put it in a glass box, and the box is the coffee table.
That would not be a bad coffee table.
You
That
you
could
saw
be a
the
coffee
you saw
table.
the Galaxy class coffee table, I
Yes,
think,
of course I
right?
did. That was
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, this could be a glass enclosed coffee table. This would definitely be somewhere prominent. Like if I had all the money in the world, I'd have a model room with shit like this in it. It would be this and Serenity and like Slave One and all kinds of whack and the Falcon. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I can't stop looking at it. I can't stop looking at it. Just my eyes are just such a beautiful ship. Okay, we're going to end it there, folks. Next week, just as a programming note, we have an early podcast because our guests are overseas. We're going to be talking to the folks who are making a new first person space sim that's also a roguelike called Everspace. They used to make a game called Galaxy on Fire 2. It's the same people, but with a new company. And they're going to be kickstarting this game soon. Sadly, we can't get a build, so they're just going to be sending us video, which is sad because I want to play it. But
oh,
yeah,
you know
huh?
who I was talking to today
Who are we talking to today?
was John. I can't remember his last name. Let me look. Where the heck is it?
You know, I was talking to you today while you're looking, because I had to redo my Skype everything. Mike Tapul was like, "Is this really you?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's me. How you doing?" He's like, "Oh God, early access is almost done and it's driving me crazy." I'm like, "But that's
Well, at
exciting.
least he's
That
progress. Yeah,
that's
progress.
exciting."
Oh yeah,
That-
so it's John O'Neill over at Sparkplug Games.
oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm kind of negotiating like when can he come in here and make your hair stand up by talking about the Serenity or the Firefly game. So what he told me the plan is
Yeah.
that the Firefly game is going to be episodic content and it's basically going to be season 2, 3, 4, and 5.
What?
The show is how they're going to.
Really?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Wow.
Is so it'll be kind of an MMO, I guess. But if everybody flies the frickin' Serenity around,
There's going to be other ships. I mean, if you
that'll be
recall,
weird. Yeah,
there's going to be other ships. I mean, if you recall when they landed at Persephone, there were several different other designs just docked there, and then there was that other ship that docked with the Serenity in out of gas that looked kind of like a giant space crab. So there are other types of ships out there. Um, so it's going to be interesting. But yeah, folks, so next week the podcast is going to be at 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Definitely putting it up in the calendar so y'all know. But yeah, it's going to be a little different timing if you want to check it out live. We're going to have the folks doing Everspace. So thank you so much for watching. And I guess we'll have Hunter back in 2 weeks because he can't do the early shows. Or can he now? Is he employed? Can he now?
he is not employed yet, so
Oh.
I believe that we will hold him accountable
Oh,
for
okay.
showing the hell up.
Okay, he better show up. He better have internet by
But
then. Oh my
I'll
God.
drive down there and knock on his damn door.
You can do that now. Oh my
I
God,
can.
you totally can do that now.
It could happen.
So, folks, thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.